If you're moved, you won't have to go through the selection, I called. Perhaps it'll be for the best. Try, Erica, try. A capo from the barracks near where Erica stood rushed toward her. Get away from there, you whore, she screamed, swinging her club. Erica was fast. She moved too quickly for the blows to strike, but then she was gone. And father and I melted back into the crowd of men at the barracks, not wanting to attract the attention of the guards. In my mind, I can see Erica. Try, I had called to her. She was so thin she couldn't have weighed more than 50 pounds, but her face had that particular spiritual glow that I knew so well, which had died for a while when she thought she was alone. Now, just knowing we were alive had helped her. The next day, her spot was filled by someone else. My heart sank. Neither father nor I knew what it meant. Had she been sent to the gas chambers or moved out of the camp? That night I lay in my bunk, teeth chattering, head bursting with pain. I felt terrible. I was burning hot one minute, freezing cold the next. I had typhus. Father bribed the capo to let me stay in the barracks while I was sick. We all knew that being sent to the infirmary was usually a death sentence, because Nazi doctors were trained not to heal but to select those too weak to work for death. I was delirious and in a fever for 5 days. Avoiding typhus was very difficult because we lived in the most horrific squalor. Our blankets crawled with so many lice that it often seemed like the blankets themselves were alive. They moved. We were allowed to wash once a day in a trickle of water, but the toilets were just long slabs of wood with holes in them, and they were always filthy and overflowing. We deloused and cleaned ourselves on our day off every other Sunday. But it made little difference. Still, I was lucky that father had things the capo wanted. He took me off the work detail and allowed me to lie alone in the barracks all day. I dreamed of mother in my delirium. It was strange. I'd been so busy trying to stay alive, I had no time to mourn her death. Those 5 days were filled with her image. She scolded me for not wearing my overcoat when I was cold. She nagged me to eat some more coffee cake or noodle pudding. I had forgotten those things existed. She hugged me to her and told me she loved me. When I came out of my delirium and told father, he said that she had been with me every moment of my illness and that she had pulled me through. Her memory? I asked him. No, Daniel, her spirit. She was with you. I just know it. I could feel her sometimes late at night when you were crying out. She would soothe you and you would quiet down. I didn't know what to make of what father said. He had never been religious. I don't think he used to believe in God. But if he felt mother's presence, he must have believed in something. Why would this experience, which should make any sane person not believe in God, do the opposite to him? And yet somehow I felt he was right. I didn't know how I felt about God. After all, how could he let us suffer so? Still, somewhere inside me, I knew mother had been with me. I came through my illness very weak, but feeling more at peace with myself than I had before. Perhaps Erica was right. We were here, and to despair was useless. And then I thought of Rosa. Thoughts of her washed over me in such a rush of pain and longing I could barely stand it. As I'd done with mother, I had tried to put her out of my head, but from then on, they both stayed with me as a reminder of good and as a reminder that love still existed, even here. And then about 6 weeks later, near the end of November, our capo rushed into the barracks screaming, out, out. We were counted and marched out of the camp. The Russians were nearing. Before we left, the Nazis dynamited the gas chambers and the crematoria so that no evidence of them would survive. They gave us a quarter loaf of bread that the day we marched out of Auschwitz, and that was all we ate for 3 days. At first, we marched 5 in a row, but quickly the line began to thin out, and it became apparent to the Germans that this was another way to kill even more of us. As soon as a prisoner fell, either from exhaustion or simply because he had tripped, he was shot. Bodies were strewn along the road. I realized that this march would kill most of us, that the escape from the gas chambers was not necessarily an escape from brutal death. We must concentrate on only one thing, I said to father, putting one foot carefully in front of the other. Watch where you step, don't allow yourself even to stumble. And that is what we did. Soon those who were too weak to walk begged for help, and everyone who could end up supporting one another. I supported a boy just a year younger than I, who turned out to be from Lodz. His name was Peter. Of course, I asked him if he'd known Rosa, but he hadn't. From the moment we began to talk, we liked each other, and we quickly became friends.